morning, y'all. I debated doing this FitBang today, but since we're moving Tell It Tuesday to a special Wednesday edition with my guest, because we both want to watch tonight's debates, I decided to get the FitBang done today and just say my piece on a few things, because honestly, it's getting to a point where I can feel the part of my brain that's just like, you know what? I'm going to start really keeping people at arm's length. And I had to remind myself that it's not people. It's not the community at whole. It's just some people that think that they have the right to dictate how people speak, who people speak to, how you enjoy YouTube and girl world or commentary in general. These same people will say they want conversations. They want to have deep conversations. But in the end, because drama is fun to watch, I'm not even going to act like drama isn't fun to watch. It comes down to, well, if you talk to this person, we can't talk to you. If you like this creator, we don't want to associate with you, which is fine normally. But when you see it get to a point where people are just determined to create factions and mad at people who don't want to join any factions and just want to enjoy people. I've had to tell creators that I like and creators that I'm just trying to get to know when they've warned me about other people that it's just business. I just want to get to know this person. There's an aspect of them that I find interesting, that I want to watch, that I want to interact with and get to know. I also like I said in the last FitBang, analyzing different points of view. I don't have to agree with a person's idea of something, but I can also see the perspective they're trying to come from. I also don't like the idea of being told that somebody that I only know on YouTube, that I have to forcefully tell them that they're wrong, because for a lot of people it's just about being right. I know how I feel about certain topics. I interjected not only my own personal anecdotes about what I went through and how I feel. I got lucky that I did end up, like Chantel, thinking only that male validation was what would make me feel important enough to be here. I got lucky that my grandparents stepped up where my parents, when they got married way too young because they wanted to be grown, dropped the ball with certain things. I feel like too many people feel like giving any kind of leeway to talking about other people's point of view is conceding to that person, and it wasn't about getting the win. It was about just having a conversation. And I would love to think these same people that thought, nope, you should have just joined our side, tell her to take the L in regarding Jan, fail to understand that it's not like she's going to believe that she's wrong in this topic. She's not going to just take it because a lot of people pile on her and say, you're wrong for how you feel. But if you explain to her and have a conversation about how you can see how generational speaking, people are taught to believe a certain thing about girls and a certain thing about men, and how we look away from that, and that's wrong. And get the conversation started in that way. It could be far easier and actually teaching people over yelling at each other. There's a reason why I am selective about who I fuck with on YouTube. But I always try to listen to other people's perspective. I know GP made good points yesterday about giving in to a certain person who was trying to get a rise out of me. And I'm not even going to lie, the moment he started playing him, that's when I dipped out. I don't even want to hear that person. I don't want to think about that person. I get to a point where it's called the introvert door close with a lot of people. I get to a point where if I know that this person, not only I don't find them interesting, but I can tell that all they want to do is get people upset, is rile them up, I try my hardest to close that door. And granted, I've been on a panel that made him a focus. And because of panel etiquette, I tried to give my opinion on that. That was probably wrong in the whole grand scheme of ignoring this person. I can admit that as a human, I am going to fuck up and get things wrong. I am also human. And if it had just been left to this person talking about me on his channel, or not even, I didn't care either way at first. But when it comes to people making accounts with my likeness pretending to be me, and I'm supposed to just ignore that, I'm supposed to just act like, well, it's a part of the whole commentary thing. I don't know. This is why I tend to keep people at arm's length. I might find a person interested for months. It was the same with FFG. I know a lot of people have their opinions about Frenchie. Some have gotten in the back and forth with her. Others think that they have to hate her because of what she did with BBJ, going to the Fatty Fashion Show. And I just don't care on that level. I find her chat interesting. I find the way she covers Chantel interesting. And that was all that it was. People act like everybody is just BFFs in girl world and we all know each other's business. I call people by their handles because that's how I know them. It's the same with Yaba and them. I enjoy the support group. They're in my ear right now as I do this FitBang because it's fun to hear them in the morning when I'm doing my routine. I feel like there are a lot of people who take these supporting of streams and creators as deeper than it needs to be. Y'all act like Jan was like a sorority sister that I had to put in line. She's an elder to me. And I don't know how some people culture are. One of the things I learned early on is you don't scream at an elder to get a point across. A, they'll more than likely dig their heels into the ground because they're being directly disrespected and challenged, but it leaves the door closed to actual conversations that can help get your point of view across. I don't want to win. I just want to be around interesting people and listen to interesting things. Jan does art. I enjoyed that aspect. I like her Wellness Wednesdays. I like the True Crime Mondays. Drama stuff I can listen to. But a lot of times they talk topics that's just like, okay, I can listen, take in information, but I don't really have much to add to that conversation. I think the whole idea of telling people, and she even did this, and I politely had to say, well, I know you don't like this person, and I'm sorry you went through stuff with them, but I enjoy them, and I left it at that. There was no pushback from her about it. They didn't even bring up the conversation again. The thing is, I know a lot of people in these circles have had bad blood. Some earned, some I don't really feel from everything I observed is earned. But it's not my business to be a peacemaker. It's not my business to get everybody's point across the way they want me to. I thought we were all grown folks. This whole, you talk to this person or you associate with this person, so I've got to assume that you're not a good person. Let me disappoint you myself before you assume that because I like a certain creator's cadence, I like a certain aspect of a creator, I find them interested enough to watch and interact with them. I have lost track of how many people have warned me off of people that I've enjoyed. And like I said, I always lurk to get a vibe on what I feel before I feel comfortable chatting to anybody's community. Because a lot of these streamers have communities. A lot of these people have regulars who I've seen in many people's chat. So I told people, and I don't know or care if people believe me, I don't care who you like on here. That is not my place to hall monitor girl world. It is not my place to tell you because you enjoy this person and I don't enjoy them that you can't kick it. I think it's such a waste of time. Everybody knows the creators I don't fuck with. I made that known. I don't make streams about them. I don't fucking go into their stream to lurk or anything, I just don't fuck with them. But that's how I handle things. And I can't assume that everybody else is going to be like this. And I shouldn't have to defend the people that I do find interesting enough to associate with. I mean, this is shit that you do when you're younger and you're trying to figure out whether or not it's worth it to go with the majority. And I keep trying to explain what it's like to people who don't have sociopathy, how it works for people like me. Because I really think people only see sociopathy as somebody who doesn't care about life, somebody who is just detrimentally antisocial, and they don't understand that due to my ethnicity, due to the way I grew up and the traumas that I went through, that my brain has told me more than once that it's better when people don't like you because you have less chances of disappointing them when they realize that you're just a human and that you are going to do what you want to do whether you get approval or not. There is so many people in this world that strive to be liked by a group. They feel safer in that pack. We accuse animals of pack mentality, and some of them do, especially hound lions. And so everybody expects that the pack, once they see somebody weak or frail, will just pounce on them and attack and rip them apart and banish them from the pack. I see it so much, and it wasn't just in this commentary sphere of girl world. It happened in the art sphere too. The moment somebody became the pariah, everybody was expected to fall in line. Everybody was expected to hate on them. Now, granted, we had some really wild people in the art community that behaved way out of pocket. Everything from stalking other creators, everything from DV and just awfulness. But when it came down to it, the worst fights wasn't even about those serious things. It was about this artist said something about me behind my back, and I found out via DMs. So now I got to sick my community on their community. And it's just like, I have seen so many groups devolve over words. I've seen so many groups devolve over somebody deciding that they just don't like a person, so they're going to find anything and everything to pick them apart and make sure that nobody wants to fuck with them. And I just don't like shit like that. And I'm sorry that it makes people upset that I just didn't want to jump on the let's drag this woman who has her opinion on stuff, because I thought commentary was just that, people giving their opinions on stuff. And I wanted to see things potentially from her perspective while talking about the realities of living that duality in a world that treats you like you're older when you're not, making bad decisions because of templates set before you, but getting past that. Nobody wants to really have conversations anymore. People want to just be right about stuff, and I can't blame them. And I'm not going to stop watching people that I watch because I don't always like what they say. I don't think there's a person on this earth, even the man I love and the child I birthed, that I agree with 100% of the time. I don't want people that fall in line. I married somebody who's legit the polar opposite of me in a lot of ways. But we somehow are able to have conversations over things that we see differently. With my son, I want him to be able to say, Mom, I don't think that's right. Here's what I think on this situation. Because I don't want him to be like everybody else that, well, everybody says this, and I don't feel right about them saying this, but I'm afraid they won't like me. I hate that mentality. I really do, more than anything in the world. I hate the mentality that you can't have feelings of your own, a viewpoint that you want to say without it being, well, we don't like this person no more because they're not saying exactly what we want to hear in the way we want to hear it. Do I think the whole topic that started this off was fucked up in the first place? Yes. There's no way to fucking sugarcoat it. Do I think that people will express themselves in ways that not everybody's gonna enjoy? Yes. I do it all the fucking time because I need to remind people Even though I write about it, I am human. I think everybody needs to step back sometimes and realize that if you don't like a person, don't like them. I never ever need a reason, a deep reason for why I don't like a person at times. Sometimes I just get that vibe. Worse is when I do like a person and they end up doing something that makes me go, well, I can't fuck with you no more. I think that actually hurts worse for me than not liking a person from the jump. Because often when I don't like somebody from the jump, they prove me right all the fucking time. But when I like somebody and then something happens between us, it really does feel like a loss. And there's been plenty of that since joining the commentary community and Girl World. There's been plenty of times where my brain goes, well, this is what happens. You go from liking somebody and then you don't. I don't always announce it. It's not an airport. And very rarely do I want to go back and forth with anybody over how they made me feel. I just cut it off. Any feeling or emotion that I had towards them just dies. And I know that for a lot of people, you might not understand how some can do that. And that's why I talk about actual mental health. That's why I talk about having a brain that works the way mine does. Because I want people to try to see that from my point of view, friendships aren't meant to last forever. I've lost friends due to my own mistakes. I've lost friends due to them not wanting to be friends anymore. I've lost friends to death. I've gained people that I didn't know were going to end up being friends either. It's how life is. I just don't want people thinking that because I am interested in people, that I like watching and hearing perspectives, that means automatically I've got to be a mouthpiece for whatever the majority is thinking. I just don't operate that way. I don't think I can. I don't think I will, ever. And if that makes it where you're like, well, I don't like Hilary anymore. I thought she was like us, and she disappoints me. I'm sorry, and see you around. I'm not dismissing people with this. I think that's a problem too. That people are just like, well, she's dismissive of my feelings, so I'm done. It's just that I cannot mold myself to what people want me to be because that's how they feel. I'm not them. I would never tell somebody because I don't like this certain person, I just don't want you to like them. I said that to my favorite creators. I know that they have their reasons for why they do what they do with certain other creators and other people, but I don't ascribe to it because I would rather let a person show me or allow my own vibes to make those decisions. Feels like it is warming up today. It was nice and cool this morning. I just feel like when it comes to dealing with navigating people's feelings, I'm not going to be good at it. And I'm honest enough to say, I'm not going to be good at it. I have been in the fuck your feelings mentality for so long because I just don't operate on that. I've never called myself an empathetic person. I can feel things for people, especially if I know them or they share something with me. I don't think I'm a monster. But there is a special portion of how my mind works to where it's like, okay, I felt sad, but now I got to move on. I feel a certain way about something, but now I got to move past it. And I don't expect everybody to be like this because I do understand that there are some empathic people. There are some people that can look past a person's thing and just feel sorry for them. And more power to those people. I'm not one of them. I'm just honest enough to be open with people, and I expect it. The same thing that I get a lot of times online. I think offline, people who want to actually be friends are used to, well, we can tell Cal this stuff. We can open up. And she'll either give us something blunt to say or have no opinion on it because How do you just tell somebody that something they wholeheartedly believe in is wrong without it causing unnecessary drama and friction? I would rather just say my mind, talk to a person, and if they're going to be forceful about it, then, okay, I see you want to turn this into a fight. Let me state my piece and move on. I don't see the point in yelling and screaming and not actually listening to each other's perspectives. I don't understand why people expect that because a person that... I've heard things. I've heard that they were back and forth, that this person inserts themselves in the different dramas because it's fun for them. But the thing that I find interesting about them is learning about their lives. So my brain can separate myself from whatever antics they got up to before I knew them. And sometimes my brain can separate them from the antics that they're getting up to currently because it doesn't apply to me. And I know that for some people, well, that's not how it works for me, so it should work that way for you. And it doesn't. I'm my own person. These people are their own person. I wouldn't go up to any creator who has a strong feeling on somebody and go, you know what? You're wrong about that, and here's why, Chan. Because it's not going to go through. I used to get that a lot on Twitter, too. Why doesn't your group go harder at those who espouse racism and bigotry? And we would get into back and forth with some people that would come over to our side and try that nonsense. But I drew the line at purposely chasing down racist people to argue with them that they're racist. Do you think they don't know they're fucking racist? You think they don't know that they hate people who are different from them? And what is somebody who is literally the target of their mentality gonna say to get through to them? Y'all want me to expend my energy trying to change somebody's mind and opinion instead of having actual conversations? And no, that doesn't mean Tin's open to conversations with bigots and racists. Because I can't even say stuff like that without people assuming and me having to explain like it's a literal guide to life how this shit works. I'm not here to change people's mindsets on anything that they are rooted in, point blank. I'm just here to state my opinions and hopefully have conversations with people. But I'm learning fast and quick that that is not what girl wants. They want to be angry, and I don't blame you. There's a lot of shit going on out there in this world that makes people angry. Y'all want to defend your right to not like somebody, which I will never tell you to like anybody you don't want to like, because that's not my place. But I draw a firm and hard and solid line at anybody telling me who I should kick it with, who I can kick it with, and who I should press when I don't know them that deeply and I just want to find out more about them. This is why I lurk in people's chats before I feel comfortable enough, even talking in their communities. I'm not going to act like, oh, I'm too good for drama. No, I just like to watch it. I don't want to be a part of it on any level except commentating on it. And it has to be something I feel interested on. Something I can put my own perspective into when I comment on it. I just feel like there are too many people out here that they think we all are just carbon copies of each other. And one of the things I've loved about the commentary community is it is diverse. Everybody has somebody that they can go to. Everybody has somebody's style that they enjoy. And I think that's a good thing. I think it promotes healthy competition and promotes getting other people's viewpoints and perspectives. And it gets you understanding that if you don't agree with somebody, you've got plenty of other people that you can watch. I don't understand what's got to be deeper than that. And maybe I'm just wrong for feeling that way. Maybe I'm just wrong for thinking that if I don't like a creator's style or viewpoint, I can just not associate with them. I don't have to mess up their views. I don't have to mess up their ends. I don't have to even think about them. I can just move on to people I do like, people I do find interesting, people I can gravitate to because they make things fun to listen to. Oh, did the stream end? Either way, I just don't get why it has to be deeper than if you don't like somebody, that's between you and that person. And even if your best friend gets involved, that's your best friend. So of course, if you're that close, like I am with my best friend, a lot of times people I don't like, they more than likely don't like too. But I never tell them that's how it gotta be. I don't monitor what my friends do online or offline because I'm not their mom. I'm not a cop. I'm not a person who gets off making sure that people only fall in line with me. In fact, I think that's fucking boring. Honestly speaking, I think it's fucking boring to have people that are always like, oh yes, you're right. Oh yes, I agree with you. Oh yes, I feel this way, but you are so powerful that you those people don't fucking exist. You can't just change somebody's fucking mind by just being forceful with them. And I don't want to be around people who easily fold because they're afraid I won't like them either. Be you. I know it's hard to believe because there's so many people online and off that aren't like this. They will make you feel that the only way they'll even fuck with you is for you to agree with them 100% or you're cut off. I don't want to be like that with anybody. But I'm also real enough to say that if I don't like a person, I don't give them chances. I don't want to give them chances. It's my prerogative not to give them chances. I don't want them in my circle and I don't want to be in theirs. I think the problem is I really thought more people had this mindset, and I'm learning it's not like that. I'm learning that it would just be easier to go with the flow, go with what everybody else wants, but I can't. And I'm not going to make an apology for that. I am not wired to just go with what everybody wants out of me. And if it makes it where less people want to associate, that's what I get. I just don't want to try to change myself into something that I'm not. I don't want to be phony and pretend like, oh, I agree with everybody else only, and I don't want to even listen to other people's perspectives on things. I want to be able to sit in people's streams without having to go, well, should I be doing this? Other people don't like this person, so I don't know if I should be doing this at fucking 47. And I want to be able to not like somebody and not have it mean that because I don't like them, that everybody who associates with me has to feel the same. I just don't get it. Well, I guess my mind just doesn't want to get it because it just doesn't feel logical to behave this way at my age. It doesn't feel logical to tell people constantly that my personal dislike or any potential beefs are between me and that person, and then have people waiting in the wings. Oh, use us. We'll go and we'll do this. Or use us. They said this about you. And I am not knocking you to generally message me out of a place of concern, showing me what a person is like. But I think it takes away from me being allowed to find out for myself about people, as if I'm too dumb to listen to what they do or read receipts and make my own judgment. And to me, that's a bit insulting. I think too many people think that it's easier to just have that group up, that group think, and just go at somebody that they all don't like over just letting people make their own decisions, no matter what the outcome, no matter what the consequence. And that's one of the reasons why I think I will keep keeping people at arm's length. I enjoy Girl World. I enjoy commentary. I enjoy talking in communities that I feel comfortable in, and I enjoy lurking in communities I'm still learning about. But what I don't enjoy is this whole idea that we have to dictate who people associate with because of your own personal things. And I'm at least willing to admit when I won't fuck with somebody for my own reason and leave it at that. I don't need to harp on it. I don't need to dwell on it. All I need to do is state my thing and keep it pushing. And if that's not for you, okay. I just want people to feel free enough to be their true self on here. And I got to realize, like I learned on other social media, that's not always the case. People are always going to mask up. People are always going to put on the persona that they think will be the most accepted by enough people. I guess there really is security for a lot of people in having groups to protect them. But I've never trusted groups to protect me. That's why I like to stand alone. I might ingratiate myself to people, but I never believe that anybody online that doesn't know me and I don't know them have my back. And I don't want to treat the people who do know me as if they've got to be my attack or avenge squad. That's just how I roll. And I am at the point where instead of constantly trying to prove this to people, I'm just going to keep going with what I want to do on this app. Doing what I feel is fun and engaging and hopefully a little bit enlightening about mental health and all of that stuff. As you can see, it's starting to warm up, guys. Sweaty. I'm going to go relax for the rest of the day. We got a lot of stuff done, including stocking up and things. We got the greenhouse going. There's a lot of good on the horizon. And I am not going to constantly have to put people's negativity in the forefront of my mind. I overthink about a lot of things listening to the replay of GP stream, and I realized that while I can concede that, yeah, I shouldn't have gave that person any attention, gave them exactly what they wanted, I viscerally don't like them enough to where I realize that I don't have to do that anymore. I can keep my attention on the things that do bring me joy and happiness and just leave all the rest of that shit to the wayside. I can also enjoy who I want to enjoy on this app, whether people like it or not, because we're all grown. At the end, you've got to make your own decisions, and I'm cool if you don't like who I associate with, and by that means you don't want to associate with me too. That's the way of life. But you have a great day and take it easy, y'all.